KTM entered the Indian market in 2012 with the launch of the Duke 200, and in 2017, KTM was expected to update the Duke 200, but they surprised us with the launch of this motorcycle, the Duke 250. We are riding it today to see if it's a big step up from the Duke 200. In terms of design, the Duke 250 looks bigger than the Duke 200, and just look at this motorcycle, it's very aggressive. It takes inspiration from the 1290 Super Duke R, the orange subframe, the aggressive headlights with LED DRLs, and of course this tail section really screams aggressive. Now KTM has given this a metal tank, it's a bigger unit, which also means that the towing range on this motorcycle is going to be much better than before. There are certain things which have been carried over from the Duke 200, like the instrument cluster. Now this one is loaded with a lot of information. But yes, we would have liked the unit which is on the new KTM Duke 390. KTM has repositioned the ignition key, which is now closer to the rider. It is just ahead of the tank. Earlier it was near the instrument cluster. One of the complaints of KTM motorcycles was the seat. Now it was very hard. Now this motorcycle gets an all new seat. It's much more comfortable and also accommodating. Even for tall riders, there's good amount of space near the tank, which makes it easier to lock your knees. KTM has also given it a much more usable pillion seat. So yes, a pillion is comfortable on this motorcycle. And what's the best part about this motorcycle for people like me, which is tall riders, is that the seat height has increased. Now coming to the heart of the matter, this motorcycle gets a new 250cc engine. It produces 30 PS of power and 24 Newton meters of torque, which is a significant improvement over the Duke 200. And when you ride this motorcycle, that's something which is instantly noticeable. In terms of low-end performance, it's not very punchy or frantic like its cousin, the Duke 200. This motorcycle gets orange colored rings, it gets 3 new colors, but other than that, everything remains the same as before. This motorcycle is very attractive to look at. Even though it's now 5 years old, it still doesn't feel dated at all. And with the orange rims, there's that sportiness associated with the Duke 200. Unfortunately, KTM hasn't painted the trellis frame orange. The console on the Duke 200 remains the same as before. It's a very loaded console. I think this is the cheapest bike in the Indian market, which has so much information being displayed on the instrument cluster, right from real-time fuel efficiency to distance to empty, twin trip meters, clock, gear position indicator, and the list keeps going on and on. For 2017, the headlight on-off switch has been removed because this one gets automatic headlight on. The Duke 200 isn't a very comfortable motorcycle. The seat is hard, the riding position is a bit weird in terms of ergonomics, and as far as the foot peg positioning goes, they are a bit rear set. This motorcycle isn't for long distances, and KTM has ensured that you really don't go long distances on this machine because this has a very peanut-sized fuel tank. At the heart of the matter is the same 199.5cc liquid-cooled 4-valve single-cylinder engine. This motor feels much more refined in its 2017 avatar. The bike is quite frantic, power delivery is urgent, and it rushes to the red line, creating quite a havoc. In the city, the Duke 200 is absolutely fun to ride, but out on the highway, the habit of running into the rev limiter is so frequent that you really have to keep an eye on the gear shift indicator. KTM has 5 motorcycles in the Indian market, and among all of them, the Duke 200 is the least interesting in terms of sound, because this along with the RC200 are the only 2 bikes which don't get a side mounted exhaust. This is how it sounds.
Slow, slow, slow.